Okay, I'm going through a really bad trigger right now, and I believe it stems from the trauma of sexual abuse. And I have been feeling really not well since yesterday, and I have to navigate through this because I don't want to feel this way. And when I say I don't want to feel this way, what I mean to say is I don't want to let this emotion control me. I rather help this emotion. If anybody listens to this audio, you may hear planes above my house, which frequently happens, but I don't have the energy to pause this every time because I'm just not in a good mood right now. I wish that parts of me, sometimes I see like movies where, you see like people having like normal, family backgrounds, and just, I wish I didn't go through so much trauma, It just makes life so complicated. And then at the same time, going through all that trauma, if I didn't, I don't think I would be the person that I am. And I don't think I would have the level of profoundness that I feel privileged to connect to. I think within the pain and desperation, it's when I sought God, Within my weakest moments, it's when I sought God and when I found love. That's my experience. Everyone has their own. I guess we all carry our own crosses, Even, you say that Jesus even said, can't even remember the statement, but even at the end, he was like, why art thou forsaking me, It's not my will, it's thy will, so let thy will be done. Acceptance. Am I saying that it's thy will for me to have gone through rape? Was it God's will for me to go through that? It sounds a bit nasty, right? Like, how could anyone make you want to go through that? But I think there's a deeper meaning to that. That sadly, by understanding the dark human components, we understand contrast. We understand bad, and bad helps us see good. And how do we know good without seeing bad? And sometimes it feels like we're that helps us to become more wanting to come home. And I always think of this one metaphor that metaphors always help me. They bring me back. I think of this metaphor like we come to this world and it almost feels like we let's say we leave our home and we go to the desert and then we feel thirsty and we feel more thirsty and we feel more thirsty and we feel more thirsty and feel more thirsty and we feel more thirsty. And then eventually it's that thirst that makes us want to come back home to drink water, to drink the water of our soul. And that metaphor, I'm not really talking about water. I'm really talking about our origin, our true nature. Alright, this is really hard, and it's actually doing these recordings that is helping me feel sane, because I can't spend the whole day just feeling like shit, So being able to express, I'm glad I'm doing these audios, because it helps me to let it go, let it through me. And maybe along the way, someone else, I don't know, that's my hope. That's my hope in sharing this, and maybe somebody else can help somebody else. Help heal their painful traumas, Because I know I'm not alone. So, since my mom recently died, it's like I feel like now I can address the sexual trauma more. My mom denied that the sexual trauma ever happened to me, or sometimes she would blame me. She said if it did happen, then you were the one that was wrong, because you should have said something. And all my life I had this difficult relationship with her, and sometimes it was great. It went from, now that I understand narcissism, it went from love bombing to gaslighting, love bombing to gaslighting. Oh my God. I would get really upset at something she would say or something she would do, and then she would deny it and then flip the story around, and then I would get really upset and not want to talk to her. And then little by little, after giving me space, she would be really, really, really nice, really, really nice. And then I get my hopes, back in gear. Okay, maybe we can make things work between us. Maybe we can have a respectful relationship. And then bang, she would do something else that was really mean. Or I spent my whole life trying to fix this broken relationship of ours, and she would tell the rest of the family, probably God knows what she would tell them, but I tried telling some members of my family what happened, and they would be very dismissive about the sexual abuse and very insensitive, and they would change the subject. I'm like, I like literally specifically told you what this man did so you can understand. And it was like I was talking about nothing. I felt invisible, And when sexual abuse starts, especially, well, at any age, but in my experience, it started at like 11 years old, It's just... So, okay, going off tangent. Or not. Maybe I needed to address this a little bit. And I know I'm going to keep going on and on and on about it sometimes in these audios. And I know some people might judge me if I share this, but the good thing is that I want to share this in an anonymous way because of that, because of the fact that I've been judged so many times. And if I share this in an anonymous way, then, I also feel safe and I also feel like I'm respecting, others too, I don't want to expose them, I don't want to expose my mom, but my family was like all about image, like you're blaming your mother, and I never like wanted to talk about the sexual abuse to blame my mom, I just wanted to heal. I just wanted our relationship to heal, and I wanted her to take accountability for not supporting me and saying things that were hurtful. But sometimes people rather focus on their need to uphold their reputation instead of the need to make a relationship better. All right, so this week I have some workers at the house, and one thing that I've done, in my life, one of the personality or traits, or rather coping mechanisms from the abuse growing up was trying to be a pleaser, trying to be as nice as possible so that people will be nice back, so that people will. And and that created a lot of abuse, Created a lot of abuse. And so in this case, this cabinet guy, or this guy that was doing some repair in my home, I paid everything, before he was done, and I think that was I know this was a mistake, but I did it because he seemed, I don't know, I guess I'm like, all right, let me just pay all of it, and then that way he, does a nice job. He sees that I'm grateful, that I trust him. But that's what it is. We sometimes, not we, because everyone's different, but I do something that I think is nice because I want nice back, and not necessarily are we going to get nice back sometimes. So I noticed that he started flirting with me. Be like, oh, you're the most beautiful, beautiful girl. Oh, how is the most wonderful girl in the world? And I'm like, I didn't feel comfortable with that. And then he starts saying other things like, oh, I should be living with you. You need a really good man that takes you out to dinner. And I said to him, look, I don't want you to flirt with me. I just need a friend. Okay, I'm going through a lot. My mom just died. Right now, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. Just be aware. I don't want you flirting with me. And then he started doing it again and again. And I called once just to arrange, when he's going to finish his work, because he still had to finish it. And this woman answered, and I'm like, she started acting weird. I'm like, no, don't, I'm just calling, if he's just doing my cabinets, that's it, don't worry. And I and when he spoke to me, he said, yeah, it's this lady that I'm living with, but we're not together. And I told her that I'm falling in love with you. I'm like, what? And it's just, so he kept on flirting with me and saying inappropriate things like that. And I get mad at myself, and I get mad at the other person. I get mad at myself because in saying this, I should be like, you know what? Just forget it, just lose the money that you lost. At least he did A, B, and C. Find someone else who's going to finish the work, and don't just. But then the other part of me is like, you know what? It's I want him to finish the job, I just. And then I even sent him this long message saying, look, I understand we all have different feelings. We all have different needs. One person might need this, the other person might need that. But at the end of the day, it's wonderful when we can just respect, even if our needs are different, and see, what two things can two people mutually share, but how I see things and how others see things are different sometimes. And I just feel like, sometimes men, they push, and then they try to push and push and push and push and push and push, and maybe they can finally get what they want. And it feels so invasive, and it's really triggering. A lot of feelings, and I'm feeling upset, and I'm feeling discouraged. And he like promised, he's like, okay, I'm gonna finish this. He knew that was my birthday week. He's like, I'm gonna finish that. I'm gonna go this on this particular day, and he never came. And I feel like when I gave him the boundaries, when I told him that I'm not comfortable because he's still flirting with me, I feel like he like punished me. Like, okay, you're not gonna let me flirt with you? All right, you're not gonna let me do what I want with you? Okay, here's the consequences. And it triggers all of the sexual abuse and And I get also mad at myself. Because then I'm like, okay, am I giving him mixed messages and this and that? And there's another fucking plane that's going above the house. Maybe I deserve to cry, I think. Maybe I just deserve to cry. Oh, it's like the hardest week. I get so upset. It's like the hardest week. It's my birthday. The week of my birthday. Between the week of my birthday and between Mother's Day. That's the week. It's the hardest time. The hardest time. My first birthday without my mom. And the first Mother's Day without her. And I have to deal with this fucking man. It is so upsetting. Okay. It's like when I was young, it was like my dad was very absent. So he was like emotionally not, just mentally absent, emotionally absent. And so I guess I got the message, okay, people are either gonna, if they, they either are not gonna, the only way you're gonna get attention, pretty much, is what I learned. The only way you're gonna get attention is if somebody wants something from you. The only way I was getting attention in any way growing up, many times it felt, was my brother bullying me. Calling me stupid, you moron, you're so fat, you're so ugly. Laughing at me. You're so stupid. Just laughing at me all the time. Those were the times that I got attention. Or the sexual abuse. Somebody coming to me. He apparently wanted something, right? So people either want to mock me or use me. That is when I get attention. Otherwise, it's absence. In a way, this is what it's triggering, like, okay, you want me to finish your job, bitch? You want me to finish your cabinets? All right. Give me what I want. Right? Oh, you don't want me to flirt with you? All right. Good luck. Good luck with your cabinets. All right, I'll call you when I'm ready to come. Keep waiting. Keep waiting by the phone for me. You know? Makes me say, fuck you and fuck off. Your fucking cabinets. Take the money and shove it up your ass. It's very upsetting. But then it's amazing how, as children, we create these beliefs. And it's true, it's these beliefs. Like, okay, if somebody's giving me attention, it's because they're using me. They want something from me. There's another fucking plane above my house right now. I'm just not in a good mood right now. I'm just so upset. I'm so upset. And I get mad at myself because I sent them this audio, this long audio, trying to help them realize it's nothing personal. We're all allowed to have our own desires, but it's just about respect. Just trying to be super nice so that he can finish my fucking cabinets that I paid him for, And so yeah, maybe the nice persona is a form of manipulation. You do something nice, but you do it to get something in return. I acknowledge that. Is it really nice? Or I think everything that's not love eventually leads us to love. Have I ever been pushy before? Yeah, I have. And this experience, as many of the others, that feel invasive, that feel controlling, When I tell someone, when I give somebody a boundary, it's hard enough to even state it. And then when they dismiss it and they keep doing it again and again, it makes me feel disrespected. And makes me feel like they don't take my request seriously, and they don't respect. They want to control me. So it definitely reminds me of the importance of giving people space to be free. Even giving people space to be where they are at. And another plane. Acceptance. So I think I am ready to turn it around. I think healing is not just talking about it. I think talking about it helps. But I think we can take a step further, and the way what helps me go back to healing is by the first thing I like to do is just vent. And I was never allowed to vent growing up. I was never allowed to talk about it. My mom never allowed me to talk about the sexual abuse. It was like don't talk about it. It never happened. Da 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 da. Because she wanted to, like, it was her reputation. Like, if I talked about it, you know, it felt like it was too hard for her to even think about it. Like, she had to, like, pretend it never happened so she can focus on other things, any other thing but that. And it was never about helping me. It was always about clearing her image from her mind. Because if it really did happen, that means that she's a bad mom. And she would always say, I'm not a bad mother. I'm a good mother. I'm a good mother. I did everything for you all. You don't appreciate me. And then she would turn it around. And for her, it was the sexual abuse that I went through, it was about her. It was never about me. It never was. It was about how it affected her. So now I have the need to express. And I hope, if anything, it can encourage another person who's gone through this, for them to also express, you know, whether it's to a therapist and or just recording it or just anything. But allowing ourselves to be our own best friends is a powerful thing. So that's when I am led to that metaphor that always helps me back. So the meditations that I do, the first part is being able to put my attention inwardly. And so I think of this metaphor. This is the metaphor that helps me do that. I think of a house that is on fire. And the house is on fire. And I see the man that caused the fire, that started the fire, man or woman. And I see that person running the opposite direction. But there's some people in the fire. And it feels like it's still safe to go in there to help them. So that's my priority. That's what I do. I have no time. Obviously, I may want to go after the person that caused the fire to stop them, but priority is priority. So right now, that metaphor reminds me of the importance of putting the attention back inwardly, because right now I'm in the fire. And I might want to put my attention on that person. I want to put my attention back on that person. But I'm in the fire. And there's resistance, because the ego wants to focus sometimes on the other person, on the person that caused the fire, and feel upset and this and that. But the more upset I get, the more it affects my health. I know someone that died. She had cancer, and she just... I felt like she had so much bitterness in, and she had so much bitterness about how people treated her all her life, and I feel like it took a toll on her body. So I'd rather be courageous and put my attention inwardly and help extinguish that fire. And this is where the second metaphor comes in. To extinguish a physical fire, it takes water. And to extinguish an energetic fire, it takes presence. And it also takes love. Yeah, maybe I grew up with people that made this child feel like, okay, the only time that you're given attention is when I want something from you. Whether I want to criticize you, and by criticizing you, then I feel better about myself. Or I want to rape you. Or I want to objectify you in any other way. But now I am choosing to look at all of that and say, you know what? Thanks for teaching me what not to do. There's another plane. Thanks for teaching me what not to do. Thanks for reminding me of the importance of bringing attention inwardly to this body because of love. Thanks for reminding me of the lack of love, of how the lack of love hurts. And by reminding me of how the lack of love hurts, it inspires me to love this body. What else can I do? And so I choose to be brave and to extinguish this energetic fire within with my presence and my love, even though it's hard to. Even though it's hard to. Okay. And it takes great willingness to do that. It's easier to distract myself and to emotionally eat, to put my attention on a phone and its contents, but that's not helping it. It's temporary. It's not really helping it. May everything that's not love eventually lead us to love. And so, yes, I choose. I choose to look inwardly. I choose to be a space of allowing to whatever's showing up inside. I choose to scan, observe that which is within, just as is. Observe that which is within. And breathe it out. I choose to be a space of allowing to that which is within. I allow. If there is tensions within, I allow them to be as is. The tensions inside are the cries inside my soul. I choose to hold its hand. I choose to be a friend to that which is within. I allow myself to scan, observe all the different parts of my body. And then breathe it out. I allow to be a space of allowing, to truly allow my body to be where it is at. Because I know by giving it space, it is that space that allows the tensions to become freed. Choose to not resist this body, but instead be with it. As I look in, I scan, observe what is within. I breathe it out. Okay. Did a little more. I'm actually okay that there's a plane above my house. Acceptance, right? Completely not being dependent on that which is outside of me. It becomes easier the more centered I am inside of me. I allow myself to sit with what is within. I scan, observe inside of my body as I look in. I scan, observe that which is within. That helps me breathe out all the tensions that I've carried all these years. More and more layers. The next step is to add another component to it. All my life, I wanted my mom to love me. To love me, you know? And after the sexual abuse when I was little, it just felt like I lost her. I lost her love, you know, and just wanted other people to just love me and respect me, you know? But now it's my opportunity to love this body within, to open my heart to that which is within. My life, it's always been easier to be there for others. When I felt my health declining, or when I felt there was something wrong with my body, there was weird pain, that's when I would do all these things for health, but then I would go back to the same old ways. I would go from doing a lot to get healthy, and then going back to emotional eating, and then back and forth and back and forth. It's been a process, you know. So the lack of love out there reminds me of the importance of love in here, to start within. And so I allow myself to be a space of tenderness. So as I look within and I see or feel any tensions inside of my body, whether it's my head or my chest area or my neck, inside my throat or my stomach, or wherever I'm feeling those tensions, I know that in part these are tensions that come from emotional scars, come from traumas from the past. And those traumas from the past deserve my love. And so I look within. I choose to open my heart. As I scan and observe within. And I breathe it out. Just like water is what physically extinguishes the physical fire, presence and compassion, love is what extinguishes an energetic fire, the energetic pain. Another plane going by, it's okay. It's life. Life is all about fluctuations and things that we like and things that we don't like. But can I bring a space of tenderness to that which resides within? Can I open my heart as I look within? Okay. And so I can also receive the love that is always available to love from my heart and from my soul and from within and throughout. There's this love within and throughout. I am not this individual tree that is separate from all the other trees. I am not an individual tree that is separate from the earth and separate from its clouds and separate from the sky and separate from everything. I am part of the heavens and I am part of the clouds and I'm part of the earth and I'm part of everything. And the tree is part of it and all of it is part of the tree. And there is this love that is always available to love. And there's also the love that is restricted, the love from the human world that is more restricted, that's more conditional. I allow myself to surrender because I have spent my whole life trying to depend on love from restricted places and restricted spaces. I allow myself to surrender and let in the love that is always available to love within and throughout. And just passively just let it happen. Just like I can sunbathe on the beach and just let the sun's rays I don't have to do anything. The sun's rays just do its thing. I don't have to work extra hard to be loved. I can just be. All I have to do is just be willing to receive it. Can I truly allow myself to be willing to receive the love that is always available to love and surrender to that? Am I willing to do that right now? With planes above my house and all, am I willing to receive the love that is always available to love? And I know there's resistance sometimes. It's a new muscle. I think my wounded child, the inner child, so wants that love from that human. And that is why it's hard, grieving for my mom. I'm grieving for losing her and the fact that I really felt like I lost her when I was little, when I was sexually abused. I lost her love. I lost her love. I feel like I lost her then. I've been trying all my life to get my mom back. And then when she finally passed away, I lost her again. And then I also lost the desire of ever getting her love within human form. I lost her 3 times in 3 different ways. Love goes beyond the realm of human because we are human beings. The human love is always going to be restricted in some sense. And the more we can make peace with that, the easier life gets. it takes resistance sometimes, because that inner child wants that love. But we can let the inner child within know that there's love right now. The love that you've been seeking, it is here right now. Are you willing to let it in? To really, really let it in. It only takes willingness. Love is what extinguishes the energetic fire. And maybe that's what even Jesus went through, that resistance towards the end. Like, why have thou forsaken me? They did really bad things to him. You know? So many have gone through such horrible things. You know? But I really feel we are held in the grace of God, even within the tragic moments of our lives. We're always held. I feel like we're visiting this human world, you know, and it's just, how much faith do we have? During the most trying moments, we know love is also there. But what is love and what is not love? And we get to experience both in here. This world is tragic and it's beautiful and it's everything in between. We even start learning the demonic world of the dark, dark behaviors that try to control others and by feeling more powerful, but hurt people hurt. At the end of the day, that's what it is. we experience that love from that space, that love is always available to love, when we can experience that love and that connection, then we know that it's not just pain here in this world. There's depth. And so it is. We're not just human, we are human beings, beings of light. And this is the next step of the meditation. The first step, I was able to bring presence to the human components within that were struggling. Then I added to it, I brought a space of tenderness. I opened my heart little by little to it, to what was going on inside. I opened the love from my heart and from throughout. That love from that space, that love is always available to love. I brought that in to the human parts of me. And now I'm ready to feel the space that lies within and throughout. I'm ready to connect to the beingness within my human being. I start with my hands. That's where I feel it the most easily. I recognize that there is space within my hands. I realize that there is aliveness that resides there. I recognize this charge within my hands. And I can feel the tingling throughout the fingertips, the warmth within my hands more and more. And it doesn't matter the noises outside. I can center myself, I can feel that inside. I allow myself to feel the space within my arms. I allow myself to feel the space within my legs and feet. I allow myself to feel the space within the middle part of the body. I allow myself to scan inwardly, and I recognize that there is space within each organ, within each muscle, within each segment of each bone. I allow myself to check in, feeling the space within my arms. legs, middle part, I allow myself to feel the space within the face and head. Allow myself to feel the space within my arms, legs, middle part of the body, face and head. There is inner space within me. And yeah, there's still some tensions. There's still some frustrations of the noise that I have to deal with, and this and that, and the accumulative tensions from being in this world and this society. But there is also space that lies within. I recognize it. And I allow myself to feel the space within and recognize that the space within and the space throughout blend as one. So I allow the light, the space within, and the light and the space of the earth to blend as one. It all takes willingness. And it's even better with noise because life is noisy. And the more we are able to connect within the noise of the world, that's what it's about. We are in this world, and on the surface, it's like the waves are crashing and they're strong and they're very strong. Sometimes they're very strong. Sometimes they're not very strong, but sometimes they're very strong. And you never know. It can be strong like all of a sudden. And the depth, there's no waves. The depth of the water, there's no like huge crashing of water there. The depth is more still. There's a lot of movement with fish and everything, but there's no crashing of waves. And it's the same thing with this world. Within its surface, there's a lot of noise, a lot of situations. But within the depth of this world, as we connect, as we are willing to connect to that love that resides there, that space, that stillness, that peace, that light, it's there. They're both there. They're both always there. And just like we don't want others to manipulate us, we can't manipulate the world into how we want it to be, because it's gonna be noisy sometimes. That's the world we are in. But at this moment, there is space within. There is light within. Can we allow the light within and the light of the earth to blend as one? It just takes willingness, and then it happens. Can we allow the light within and the light of the heavens above to blend as one? It just takes willingness. And it takes practice. Whether we feel it or we don't feel it, it's there. Little by little, we feel it more. We feel it more strongly. We feel it more strongly. Patience and kindness go a long way. Can we allow the light within and the light throughout throughout the city, throughout this world, throughout all worlds, throughout infinity. Can we allow the light within and the light throughout to blend as one? That's it for today. Thank you.